Welcome to Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Happy Friday. We are one day closer to spring training getting started. We are less than 2 weeks away now from pitchers and catchers reporting. So very soon we will have actual baseball to talk about instead of continuing on here with the offseason. But still, there still could be some work to be done. We'll talk about that. Also, I've got a trade idea for the Brewers to take, which I'm kind of surprised that they haven't taken yet or haven't done, but we'll get to that coming up here. First, I want to talk about another move that the Brewers have made. They have brought in another name, another new face to the organization for spring training. Jacob Waguespack signed a minor league deal with the Brewers on Thursday, and he got an invite to Major League Spring Training. So, non-roster invitee, Jacob Waguespack is a right-handed pitcher, most likely a reliever. He has some starting experience, but let's be honest, he's a reliever in this organization. That's going to be his best opportunity to make the roster. Waguespack is 32 years old. He's bounced around the league for a while. 6'6", 230. So great size. Brewers do love their tall. Right, they do love their tall pitchers. They love their short position players, but tall pitchers. I mean, their bullpen. You got Trevor McGill at 6'8". You've got Jared Koenig, 6'6". And of course, in the rotation, Jacob Mizorowski, 6'7". Prior to that, you also had Brian Hudson, 6'8". They love Easton McGee is 6'7". So they love their tall pitchers, short position players, tall pitchers. They love that. So Waguespack comes in, and over his career, not super great. Spent a couple of years in Japan, pitched decently well over there. Spent last season in AAA with the Rays and the Phillies, and put up some pretty good numbers. 2.45 ERA. Across 33 innings. I mean, not a large sample, but again, as a reliever, still, decent ERA. So there's some stuff to work with there, I guess. Waguespack, I'm not going to imagine is going to make the opening day bullpen, but he's someone who can show well in camp, put himself on the radar of the coaching staff. Most likely going to be starting in AAA. And be a reliever for Nashville. And if he does well there, perhaps when an opportunity arises in the big league bullpen, he could end up getting a call. I mean, that's what all these guys are looking for at this point. They're looking for a shot, looking for an opportunity. These minor league deals with the non-roster invites, you're probably going to be starting in AAA. Sure, you have a chance technically to make the opening day roster. He's going to be competing for one of those spots. There's not really a ton of them available, straight out of the gate, provided everyone's healthy. But still, a couple years ago, Jared Koenig, a non-roster invite, sent down to AAA to start the season. When an opening happened, someone got hurt, whatever it was, they called up Koenig, and they have not sent him back down since. So that's certainly a legitimate path here. So maybe Jacob Waguespack can be something. Maybe he ends up getting cut by the time April rolls around. Who knows? But he's someone who I think at the very least is going to be down in AAA in Nashville and could be an option to be called upon at some point throughout the season if he pitches well. If he doesn't, well, then he'll end up sticking down there in AAA most likely for the remainder of the season. But Jacob Waguespack comes in to the Brewers organization. So yesterday they got Reese McGuire. And it's like, okay, you get another catcher in here on a minor league deal. McGuire has a better chance to actually, playing, being that potential insurance there for Jefferson Caro. But then again, the bullpen, there's more bullpen spots than there are catcher spots on a roster. So if he can put himself in a good position, he can earn one potentially. But McGuire, better path to opening day than Waguespack does. But hey, gotta love the Brewers getting options, okay? I suggested Carson Fulmer on yesterday's show. Fulmer is still out there. I don't think Waguespack necessarily precludes them from going after and getting another, which, I kind of want to look at here. Because, is there still going to be more to come? And I think the answer is yes. There's still going to be more minor league deals to come. We are, again, just now less than 2 weeks away from spring training. A ton of free agents are still out there. And a lot of these guys, I mean, there's not really a ton of the big name guys left, and even if there were, the Brewers were not going to be getting them. Like Framber Valdez is still out there. Are the Brewers going to sign him? No, they're not. So they're going to be looking for a lot of these guys on minor league deals, trying to see if they'll come off their push for a major league deal, major league roster spot. Because, I mean, that's what a lot of these guys are looking for. Okay, they're trying to see, can they get even just a 1-year major league deal, a guaranteed 40-man roster spot somewhere as spring training draws closer. Eventually, these guys are going to reach a point where it's like, no, I'm not, going to end up getting that major league offer. They can't negotiate teams up to it. And so they end up accepting minor league deals with invites to camp. And they're going to be finding themselves, they're going to be looking for the best opportunity to push their way back into the big leagues. And the Brewers, I mean, they also look for organizations that could be in the right spot. It's all about preference for some of these guys. Some maybe just want to get in the right organization. Even though there's a ton of guys ahead of them, like if you're a pitcher, the Brewers are a great organization to go to because they have a reputation of being able to develop pitchers. No matter what age you're at, they can see something and be like, hey, you make this little tweak here, you could actually be really good. You could be really effective with this. They have done that time and time again, and that word has spread around the league. So there's going to be some pitchers who are going to be looking at that, and some may want, better opportunity to just make the big leagues. If you're looking for a minor league deal and maybe the Colorado Rockies, okay, or something like that, where it's like, hey, Colorado Rockies, I got a good chance of getting called up to the big leagues at some point here because it is just awful up there. So they're going to be churning through guys. You can get yourself an opportunity, and you can stick around for a little bit, especially if you have a little bit of experience there. So it's going to be a matter of personal preference, but I think the Brewers are going to be a very good destination for some of these guys, free agents that are looking for pitching homes. If they value that pitching development and pitching philosophy, which a lot of them do, they're going to look at the Brewers as a destination there. They know it may be a tougher path to the big leagues, but even down there in AAA, you're going to get some very good coaching and instruction, and you're going to find a way to make some tweaks that can make you far more effective as a pitcher. So I still think that there's more minor league deals to come to add to this bullpen depth. Jacob Waguespack adds to the bullpen depth. That's nice. I still think there's more out there, at least one, maybe two more. You can never have too many pitchers, as we saw last year. And just getting guys in, especially as depth at this point, you're not necessarily counting on anyone to be a big contributor. But in case someone does go down who can be a contributor, that's where you get these guys coming in. So that's where I think the Brewers still are going to have a couple more guys that maybe they could bring in on non-roster invitees on minor league deals to add some competition there in camp, add some depth, and fill out that AAA Nashville roster because they certainly could. They certainly would love to have as many pitchers as possible as well. So, all right, I mentioned Colorado a little bit earlier, and I've got a trade idea for Colorado that the Brewers maybe could swing a deal with. Now, the Brewers don't swing a ton of trades with the Colorado Rockies. They did for Nick Mears a while back. But I think the Brewers should trade Tyler Black to the Colorado Rockies. I think the Brewers should trade Tyler Black in general, just because they simply do not seem willing to give him an opportunity. He was selected in the Comp A round right after Sal Frelick. That 2021 draft class was Sal Frelick and Tyler Black at the top. Tyler Black has proven to be a really good hitter. Doesn't have a ton of pop, but he also struggles defensively. And that's kind of, his big bugaboo with the Brewers. Defensively, he doesn't have a home. He's not really particularly great anywhere. His best position might be second base, but he is blocked there by Bryce Terang. First base, he's okay, but doesn't bring a ton of power. And the Brewers really don't seem inclined to give him a bunch of run there, especially now that Andrew Vaughn has taken over that job. Left field, potentially, they could try to stash him. But you also have Jackson Chourio. You've got a loaded outfield. Chourio, Garrett Mitchell, Christian Yelich that you want to play out there a little bit. So his best position might be DH, and that's not a great sign. To be this young and unproven at the big league level and have that be your most likely position, and especially when DH is currently taken up by the $26 million man, Christian Yelich. So I think the Brewers need to trade Tyler Black. He needs an opportunity. He's gotten some cups of coffee here and there the last couple of years, but never really enough to get some traction. Now he gets these, short sample sizes where he doesn't play very regularly, and then he struggles in those minimal opportunities, and then the Brewers like, no, okay, that's not it. Send him back down. I think he's proven all he needs to prove at the AAA level. I think Tyler Black needs a change of scenery. He needs someplace else to go, someplace where he can be given some runway to play at the big league level. Now, the Colorado Rockies, their president of baseball ops, Paul DePodesta, the former Cleveland Browns executive, because he was genius over there as the chief strategy officer. I mean, when you can get Deshaun Watson and sign him to a fully guaranteed deal of over $200 million, I mean, you got to do that. Anyways, but the Colorado Rockies, they are still potentially looking for some first base help, first base additions. They just traded for Edward Julian from the Twins, but they're still looking for potentially some first base competition to bring in. Send Tyler Black to Colorado. Matt Arnold should be calling Colorado to be like, hey, you guys looking for some first base help? Tyler Black can be your guy. I don't even care what the Brewers get back. I don't even care that his value is low. I don't care what it is. Just send him out. Give him a chance somewhere because he's clearly not going to get it here. This is going to be another season for Tyler Black to be stuck in AAA. He's not going to be called up to play first base. He's not going to be called up to play second. He's not going to be able to play left field. The Brewers just don't want to give him that shot. He's not good enough defensively for the Brewers to stick with him because they value defense so highly. And the bat can be good. We haven't seen it very much at the big league level. Very good plate discipline, good eye, but doesn't do a whole ton of damage. But he can be a high average kind of hitter. I think this guy really needs to get out. Colorado would be a great place for him. Colorado would be fantastic for Tyler Black. Whatever it is that you get back, it ain't going to be a ton. And I understand because there's a couple ways to look at this, in terms of perspective. From Tyler Black's perspective, from kind of the on paper there, it makes sense to move him. He doesn't have a spot on this roster. He doesn't have a future in this organization. Ship him out. Give him a chance to play somewhere. But also, another way that Matt Arnold could be looking at this is that, look, this guy was essentially a first-round pick for us in 2021. I mean, he was the pick right after Sal Frelick. And we all have seen what Sal Frelick has turned into. You don't necessarily want to sell low on what's essentially a first-round pick. You don't want to give up on him too early. I understand that. I get that. It's like, okay, yeah, we got this first-round pick. We know the value is down right now. You don't necessarily want to sell while the value is down, okay? You want to sell while the value is high. You've seen that with some of these other prospects and other players. Like Isaac Collins, they sold while the value is high. They got him from Colorado as a minor league Rule 5 pick. And they turned him into 4th place in Rookie of the Year voting and shipped him off immediately. Because they realized, hey, this value is probably as good as it's going to get for Isaac Collins. And Tyler Black, I understand maybe wanting to hold out a little bit longer just to see if he can reclaim some value to get you something decent in return. But I think you really need to do right by the player here if you're the Brewers. And it is clear to me, and it's clear to, I think, just about everyone, Tyler Black doesn't really have a future in this organization. He's blocked at first, he's blocked at second, he's blocked at left field, he's blocked at DH. All the positions that he has played, that he can play, he's blocked. The Brewers don't seem inclined to really give him any sort of stretch run of opportunities there. There was a thought that he could play third base. When we've talked to Pat Murphy about it, he has immediately shot it down. It's like, no, Tyler Black's not playing third base. That's just not going to happen. Doesn't have the arm, doesn't have the defense for it. And with how important defense is, it's just not going to happen. So trade him. Trade him to Colorado. They need first base help. He's cheap, he's young. He'll fit right in perfectly with them. I don't care what you get back. It can be cash. they're probably going to want more than cash considerations, but it can be a low A pitching prospect. Okay, it can be some guy in the DSL. I don't care. Give him an opportunity. Colorado should be looking at this. Colorado should be calling the Brewers being like, hey, what about Tyler Black? Is he available? We'll give you a single A pitcher for him. It should be a done deal. I mean, the Rockies, if this were Rockies daily, I mean, I'd be saying, go sign Luis Arraez. Go sign Rhys Hoskins even. Rhys Hoskins is still out there. He's looking for a job. Rhys Hoskins would do phenomenal in Colorado. He'd be a great veteran leader for that young group. Help those guys along. Teach them, hey, this is how it goes in the big leagues. He'd be perfect for him. Luis Arraez would hit 370 out there in Colorado. My goodness. Do something like that. That's what I would say if I was Rockies Daily. But because this is also Brewers Daily, I say trade Tyler Black out there. Tyler Black would hit very well out in Colorado. But also, as someone who, enjoyed talking to Rhys Hoskins and watching Rhys Hoskins play, I think Rhys Hoskins would also be a great fit out there as well. But still, that's my idea. I think the Brewers should trade Tyler Black. I'm a little surprised that they didn't do it at some point this offseason. But still, there's still time. They can still make those kinds of trades. And I think that they should trade him to Colorado. I think that'd be a great fit for him. And I think the Brewers can get something back in return. It ain't going to be much. It ain't going to necessarily be what they want. But he needs a change of scenery badly. And I think the Brewers need to do right by him and give him that change of scenery. So we'll see. We still got a couple weeks until spring training. Trades can still be made during spring training. Maybe we get to the end of camp and the Rockies are like, we don't like any of our first base options. We'll take Tyler Black now and get something for him. Who knows? But he still has an option remaining. And that's kind of the important part for him, being able to have that minor league option so that the Brewers can send him down so they're not really forced to trade him out. But when it comes to this time next year, if he's still in the organization and he's out of options, that's going to be time to move him. But by then, you have no leverage. And so really, what are you going to end up getting back? So I think the wise move would be to trade him now. All right, that'll do it for this episode. Again, be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily. Get notified every single time a new episode drops. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. And we'll see you again next week for another episode of Brewers Daily.